I know you're looking at the title and you're thinking to yourself, Stix, that is a bit of a grandiose claim to make, but I have seen a multitude of people making the comparison to both Genshin Impact and Tower of Fantasy, going on to allude that Mecha Attack is going to do what Tower of Fantasy couldn't.
Kill Genshin Impact.
And don't get me wrong, this game actually does look pretty good, but it does not look that good. You know what does look that good though? All of our incredible patrons over on Patreon. You guys are SSR quality, and I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your support. Also, if you guys are bored, come and follow Mrs. Stix and I over on Twitter. So Mecha Attack is a brand new gacha. Is it a gacha? Yeah, I think it is gonna be a gacha game. I'm sure someone is going to be more than happy to correct me down in the comment section if I'm wrong, but it is a gacha set in a beautiful, large, open world, which is where I'm assuming the comparisons are made to Tower of Fantasy and Genshin Impact. This is an open world RPG featuring full RPG elements. Players take on the role of, okay, so I'm gonna be honest here, I don't really know what the narrative is. I don't even know if we're at a stage of development yet where they have an actual narrative planned. Since this is still pretty early in terms of development, I'm a little uncertain, again, as to whether they have a functional narrative yet. Kind of like how Arknight's Enfield has a fully realized gameplay trailer showing off assets, but beyond that, details are very sparse. Judging from the gameplay that we have been shown over on Twitter and TapTap though, Mecha Attack is going to utilize a full action combat system with some pretty incredible looking gameplay. The dodging looks fluid, your hits look impactful, the enemies move and react in real time and don't seem to just stand around like punching bags. I've heard people making comparisons to Punishing Gray Raven and Honkai Impact, stating that this could be the Genshin Punishing Gray Raven culmination that we've all essentially been waiting for, and that admittedly Wuthering Waves is going to be. And you know what? I know this is going to be a contentious opinion to have, but I don't entirely disagree. This game definitely has the potential to live up to that. Whether it's ultimately capable of fully realizing it is another thing altogether though. It looks as though you'll be exploring the world with 3 to 4 different characters. As you can see on screen, there are 3 members in your party over towards the right. You can alternate between which character you are actively playing as, with every character having their own unique look, personality, abilities, and fighting styles. And character personalities are, well, pretty large, monolithic in terms of proportions, some might claim. I don't know how or even if characters are going to be capable of comboing. If you recall, in Genshin, characters are capable of comboing various different elements together, producing new, more powerful elemental chain reactions. In Punishing Gray Raven, you can call on the special abilities of other characters in your squad without directly swapping to them. Both games allow for some deep combo potential, and I feel like, honestly, having an action game without the option of comboing abilities is going to severely inhibit its potential success. Comboing elements, combining different strengths from different characters, adds additional layers and depth to your game, and provides a tangible reward for acquiring and upgrading your husbandos and waifus. Mecha Attack has a very noticeably sci-fi setting. I mean, it's part of its name after all. Sci-fi gacha games seem pretty popular lately, less so sci-fi fantasy games, which this game seems to be. The devs have been actively updating players on the game's progress over on TapTap, with the first large-scale development update happening just 3 months ago. At the time, there were a mere 10,000 pre-registered players interested. 3 months later, it seems as though the game has hit just shy of 50,000. Anticipation is very evidently ramping up, and it is rightfully so. The dev update specifically showcased the combat and the introduction of guns, allowing players to wield various types of melee weapons and now tackle the game as a third-person shooter if they'd prefer. Americans are gonna love this, and it's great seeing a developer cater to American players. Was that too much? According to the devs, players will always have a melee weapon of choice, but you'll also have a long-range weapon to swap to while you close that initial gap between you and your target. Despite everything looking very good for the stage of development it is in, I do want to note that the lead dev confirmed that this is going to be playable offline as well. I'm genuinely curious how that's going to factor into things, given that the vast majority of gacha games require that online connection present. And he did also state that you're going to have the option of both online and offline play, depending on where you are or what you're interested in doing at the time. I am also wondering what kind of monetization is going to be present, as they state Mecha Attack will be free to play, but pay to win free. And realistically, so does every other gaming studio out there. Rarely ever is that true, and rarely can developers or publishers earn enough money to sustain their game based purely off of cosmetic items that don't provide players some kind of advantage. Mecha Attack does not have any kind of expected release date currently, 2023, 2024. Pre-registration is currently open, as I noted earlier, and players have been testing it for a period of time from what I've gathered. This is a game developed by a single person, and all I can say after hearing that is that I am genuinely impressed with what you've done. You have a great looking game in the works, and I wish you nothing but the best as you close that gap towards a full release. If any indie gacha game has any real chance of successfully releasing, garnering a player base, and achieving any type of success, this game is it. Mecha Attack has a lot of potential. Not only does it look great, despite some very noticeable rough edges, specifically pertaining to the character models themselves and some of the new area textures, it looks like it plays great, and I hope ultimately that it results in an enjoyable experience for all of us. For those of you that are interested in something to play in the meantime though, I have two different videos on screen right now for you to check out. One featuring what I believe are the best gacha games of 2022. These are the best, the pinnacle of the genre right now. The other featuring a list of every confirmed gacha release of this month, December 2022. Go ahead and check them out.